All right, welcome to episode 14 of the Number 9 Podcast with Tommy. Coming to you live from the Southington Drive-In once again. Got a couple special guests with us, same ones as last time, Paul Walker, and Andy the driver will be meeting us shortly. We're going to start the podcast off with a little intro for Mr. Pat.
Good day, ma'ams and sirs.
Are you? I'm sorry.
Here's an intro.
Are you
for,
imitating me?
Excuse me, Patrick,
son of a
please.
bitch.
Here's an intro for Ginger Pat. He's a swell guy with an affinity for cats, just not the one he tossed in the trash. Whoops, I'm sorry. I meant to say he's 90 pounds too fat. Like Tom, he's losing his hair. He sees a cock and you know he has to stare. If you have a boyfriend, he'll definitely try to share. He huffs and puffs every time he tries to climb the stairs. And much like his career, I'm not gonna lie, his life is going nowhere. But he rhymes words well, and he's got secrets to tell. He's pretty funny, and you know he always puts Tom through hell. He's tatted up, he's got a massive butt, and there's not many girls that ever want to let him fuck. I feel bad for his girl, his sweat stains will make you hurl. He's ugly and chunky, and I guarantee he's barely smarter than a monkey. And he definitely has way more problems than a junkie. But hey, Pat, at least you're kind of funny.
That's quite the intro. Somehow my intros are not going to be used. You didn't introduce Andy the driver, you didn't introduce Paul Walker, and nobody's introduced. I'll take care of it. That's fine. I'll skip the other intros. Let's see.
Hold on. But we've already introduced
Oh,
Andy.
you can't talk yet. You haven't been introduced.
I started the podcast off
You
today,
can't
Pat.
talk yet. You haven't been introduced.
Pat is extremely upset.
Finally, of course, the man of the hour, and man he'll devour. While his wife makes one hell of a queen, he's just elephantine. Look it up, that's a real word. He's a smelly, jelly-bellied, heaven-sent, heavy-set, bulging, inflated, bloaty, overweighted, thick-set shithead. He's a musty and husky. Him and the scale fight because he's whale-like. Tommy fucking Washington. Now you can speak. You've been introduced.
How's it going, Pat?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm very well, very well. Happy to be here. We got some
good shit today.
Yeah, we do. How do you want to start it off, Pat?
You guys said you had multiple surprises for me.
Well, so I want to do the mail time segment, but I want Andy to be here because I have a funny ass story that goes along with mail time today.
Do we have more than one mail?
No, just the one.
Okay. Let me dive on into iTunes while you're at it and see if I can find any new.
But I don't want to start it without Andy. That's what I'm saying.
No, that's fine. Do you want to do the Mad Lib without Andy?
Yeah, we could do the Mad Lib without Andy.
Okay.
Andy has a topic that he wants to talk about today. I have done zero preparation for that, but we've talked about it before on the episode or on the podcast.
We have?
Yes.
I think the purpose of it is that you're always prepared when you talk about that type of thing because you're a person that has those things. Although people don't know what it is, they will soon.
Yeah, they get it.
All right, so there is not a new iTunes review. However, I was with my boy Dip Dizzy Whizzle today, previously known to the podcast as Don. Dip Dizzy Whizzle got his free number 9 t-shirt, and Dip Dizzy Whizzle did, in fact, write a review, or at least said he was going to write a review, or did write a review. You know what? There's a review coming. I don't really know which one it was. He's definitely doing it, though.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
How was Mr. Dizzy Whizzle?
Dip Dizzy Whistle's doing well. He just bought a house. It's fucking sweet. Took a little virtual tour of his house. It was nice.
Nice.
Right.
Yeah.
We also actually have kind of a review from Mr. Crispy.
Okay.
Do we?
Yeah, he gave episode 13 a C-.
Yeah, he gave episodes.
So, for the people listening to the podcast, a C- is a historically high grade from Mr. Crispy. That's actually, I am blown away. I feel so complimented.
And he's actually super excited to listen to the next one because he thinks we can do even better.
He actually said multiple times to me last night when I was talking to him that
What the fuck were you guys doing last night, bro? Chunk Crispy? You making a little baby? Huh? No, go ahead.
I see the guy every day, Pat.
Oh, interesting.
And at night, apparently.
Apparently, yeah,
Continue.
there's also some nighttime shenanigans.
Anyway, he said, I'm not sure what it is, but there's definitely something there. Meaning, like...
The downside of that is that's also what he says about suicide. So, not the act, the person. So, not a great start for his reviews.
not the act, the person.
I have slowly been compiling photos. We have photos like in the recording studio. We have photos. I took a picture with Dip Dizzy Whizzle today. We have photos from the park. So in the very soon to come Instagram, which we'll reveal at some point.
Pat told me like probably 4 weeks ago that he was going to make an Instagram. Still,
I don't want to have an Instagram with one picture. Now we've got a bunch of pictures, and we can start the Instagram off right. You know what I'm
And
saying?
still no Instagram.
We're going to go meme heavy on the Instagram. And maybe we'll have a little follow-along episode where you can actually scroll our Instagram while we talk about the memes on the Instagram.
Yeah,
And,
I'm about that.
yeah.
I mean, Cotton.
We were trying to figure out a way that we could do that. So I think a follow-along when you have control of Instagram in front of you, but you're listening.
Yeah, before we start recording live.
Yeah, so you can be there with us. I think is the best way we're going to be able to pull that off.
Yeah, I mean, Cotton still hasn't sent me her folder of memes.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if she stopped listening.
Did I send you the meme today of the woman in jail?
I don't know.
There was a legit.
You sent me the one of Biden with the corpse.
Yeah.
That was funny.
There was a legit meme of it was a woman in prison, and the headline on like the newspaper article said, "Woman imprisoned for sucking husband's penis off," and there was like you can comment under them. So the first comment under it was, "What's her bail?"
All right, easy with the laughs. We don't have the
Oh shit! Coming in from afar, ladies and gentlemen, driving his car, Andy the fucking driver. Boy, I wish I introduced him much later. He's got about 60 more yards to walk.
Don't worry,
Very early introduction.
We're gonna stop recording this so I can play him Mike's intro for Pat because that was.
Should I also do my intro? Man, the problem is I wrote a threesome intro for the three of you.
Well, I'll tell you
and
what.
it's
When
all been
Andy gets
wasted.
here, we'll stop, and that'll give me a chance to pull up the review or the email in,
Okay.
and we'll re-record Pat's intro because he's very upset.
Good day, ma'ams and sirs. That's right. We're going to do another intro. Now we're going to introduce Andy the driver's here. Everybody's getting introduced. Here we go. Good day, ma'ams and sirs, and welcome to another outdoor adventure in the park on the Number 9 podcast with the most offensive guest list ever presented. It's me, back on the mic, along with the star of Running Scared, a driver whose buns probably get nared, and a fatty who's fun to scare. A pretty boy with a damn gentle face, one who delivers and feathers the brakes, and a tub of lard who's full of transgender hate. Not as funny as Curly, Moe, and Larry, not as good with their wands as Hermione, Ron, and Harry. It's Charlie's half-witted angels who we can count on. It's Charlie's half-witted angels who we can count on about as much as last year's Cincinnati Bengals. They can't spell like Winifred, Mary, and Sarah, and their collective intelligence is so low it'll scare ya. They're like snap, crackle, and pop of actual life. By that I mean, even if we try to drown them, we're going to hear them tonight. Oh, no, you go, Tom. You go. Go ahead. Are you all set? You going to die on us? All right. First up is the hunkiest
I'm not
little
even gonna cut it.
son of a bitch.
Just let it go.
I don't understand why you want to interrupt me. First up is the hunkiest little piece of meat you could hope for. A guy that Tommy almost suffocated. Oh, sorry. A guy that the girl Tommy almost suffocated would gladly open her throat for. He's sexy as fuck and works next to me, but the three still collectively suck. Paulie fucking Walker, thank you for the intro. Nice to have you here.
Thanks, buddy.
I'm going to skip Tom's intro. And second in line is the driver with the prettiest smile, and rumor has it, he delivers and more. Most frequently while directing his package to your back door. For an extra buck... Oh, he's lost it. For an extra buck spot, he'll give you a tug knob, rub shot, or a suck job at the truck stop. Andy the driver, what the fuck's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing well, Patrick. Thank you.
Jesus. All right, so
Fuck all of you.
I don't really like the fact that you said that I'm full of transgender hate. That's not true.
I think that
Here's the
is-
thing, Tom. Once I say one thing, I have to stick with that rhyme scheme, and transgender hate happened to rhyme with everything else going on.
That's a backtrack.
Yeah.
You wanted to say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wanted
It's
to say
true.
you want
Plus-
to push the narrative. You're like watching the news.
Yeah.
You
Fake
wanna
news
push-
is coming out of you, Patrick.
Yeah, saying that.
Is it fake news? I'm going to see if your Face ID recognizes me. I bet it does.
It does not.
It does not. You got to open it back up.
All right, so there's going to be a lot of dead silence here. I don't have time to go back and listen to this, but we're going to start off with some mail time because we got one of the girls that I called out last week on the episode for sending messages to Pat and not the show about my views emailed in. It was a very nice email. She brought up a lot of good points, which I will talk about after Patrick reads it. So Pat, you want to go ahead?
Yep, I'm ready. Hello, Number 9 Podcast with Tommy. First off, let me start off by saying I truly enjoy listening to the podcast. Look forward to listening to it each Monday and Thursday, even when I have to catch up, new mom life and whatnot. Now, what I'm actually writing in about, 1. Patrick, if you're going to call someone out for not doing something, aka at least me, have the balls to call me out directly. I'm not scared to speak my mind. My only true concern is coming off a little too strong at first, but like Tommy says, we all have our own opinions, so I'm going to share my thoughts and opinions on how Tommy approached the whole topic in general and the specifics that I truly found offensive while listening to It's Pat. That's the name of the episode. You spoke about transgender people as though they weren't people but things. Now that alone is disrespectful, but you took it one step further and called Pat a he/she thing you met. Regardless of your personal stance on transgender culture and how you feel towards them, they are still human beings and deserve at least an ounce of respect. I don't see how it's hurting you in the slightest to refer to a trans man as him, he, or a trans woman as her, she, no matter what their appearance might be. You don't know what stage of their transition they're in. Maybe they had parents like you that wouldn't let them transition until they left their house. So they're a woman with some 5 o'clock shadow because the hormones they're taking haven't stopped that yet. Which your rules, that's fine, but you have to consider all the possibilities of why someone looks the way they do before you throw out judgment. Not to mention the scrutiny that transgender kids getting bullied and not allowed to use the restroom they identify as, or a trans man or woman that is transitioning and gets weird looks in the supermarket from people. Do you honestly believe that someone will put themselves through all the physical changes and mental challenges to hear people make snide comments behind their backs and to their faces just to be, quote, part of a trend? They're transitioning to feel like themselves and to feel good in their own skin. I think you could understand not feeling good about yourself for one reason or another. Boy, I don't know if she's calling you fat there or what. Anyways.
She would never do that. She's a sweet woman. I've never met her before, but she's married to Mason, so she has to be a very sweet.
Just as most of us could now imagine, the reason you didn't feel good about yourself wasn't as simple as, oh, I'll eat better and exercise. Nailed that one. But that your entire identity is now in question. So all in all, throughout the last few podcasts, you touched on the subject here and there, but I just wanted to voice my thoughts on your thoughts, which in my opinion left much to be desired. Much like Patrick has pointed out that your wife can thoroughly understand. Ha ha ha. That's good. She wrote the ha ha ha. I just read it. But it is ha ha. Again, love the podcast and do feel like sometimes I'm quietly yelling back at you guys or commenting on something that was said, even if it's just out loud to my dog and baby. That was written by still a loyal listener, Carissa. Carissa, I want to start off.
First off, you know that helicopter that's flying by is definitely making it into the episode.
Absolutely. What? That's a huge helicopter. That thing's got 2 propellers. It's like a fucking cargo helicopter. That's Amazon right there.
It's a military
Carissa,
helicopter.
I didn't want to call you out on the show because I didn't want to say your name. Though, since you put it in the email, I went ahead and used it. I assumed you would have used like a nickname. That's all. There were multiple people who wrote in. I didn't want to say anybody's name on the
air. So I'm gonna answer, or I'm gonna comment.
Try to answer. Continue.
Well, I'm gonna comment on some of these. Yes, I believe I took it too far when I called them. He, she, it. I do think that was probably taking it too far and trying to be funny. I would never do that to their face because I would never degrade somebody to their face. And I guess you could look at it and say, well, if you're not willing to do it to their face, you shouldn't do it at all. But I would never be that rude to somebody's face. Again, I don't agree with it. Like Patrick said in the last episode, I don't fully understand it. And to the other point, yes, I do believe that in today's day and age, some of these, not all of them, but some of them are just doing it to be part of their trend, and they would go through all this just to be quote unquote cool. Now that's my opinion, and that's that. To follow that up, I'm having dinner last night with my son. Okay? And it's a fine dinner. I picked him up from football practice. We talked about football practice. And we're sitting there eating dinner. I heat up his food. He went and took a shower. He comes down. We're sitting there eating together, not really talking about much. And he goes, "Hey, there's something I've been meaning to ask you." And I say, "What's up?" And he goes, and I'm eating my food. I'm not really looking at him. And he goes, since I started at a new school, because recently he came to live with me, and I started at a new school, and I just figured, they're all calling me by something. I wanted to know if you would. And I said, "What's that?" And he says, "Colleen." And I look at him, and I look down the back of my...
Sweet gods of karma.
I look at him, I look down at my plate of food, and I'm eating, and my first thing is, I look back at him and I said, "Who put you up to this?" And now I know that it's a joke because he's smiling ear to ear, right? And he's like, "Nobody, it's how I really feel." And I'm like, okay. And I go back to eating, and I look at him and I'm like, "Is that really how you feel?" And he does, and I forgot what he said, but I was like, "Okay, who put you up to this?" Because now I know that it's a joke, right? And he bursts out laughing, and he goes, "Kelly." No. She's a friend of mine and my wife's that watches our son when for school, because she's home on certain days that we're not. So it kind of works out, and she listens to the podcast. So thank you, Kelly. Appreciate that.
How immediately did you assume that it was Uncle Pooh?
Who put him up to it?
Yeah.
I didn't think about it.
Really?
I didn't. But I knew somebody did. I thought maybe it was my wife. Wasn't really sure. So he told me. And then I actually had to correct him because he started making, not really jokes, but imitating being trans. And I'm like, that's like, you shouldn't do those types of things. So I'm not a horrible person. I wouldn't want my son to go around making fun of transgender people at school or anything like that.
There's got to be a ton of them.
I'm not sure. I don't ask. I know my kid.
What grade's he in?
6th. So I'm not really sure. He's never told me that there was trans kids in his school. Again, if you're letting your kid turn trans, I don't agree with that. I don't think that's a good thing to set, like precedent to set. But hey, it's your kid, it's your life. You can do what you want. You know what I mean? But I thought it was absolutely hysterical. I immediately texted Kelly and said, "Not funny." And then my wife knew about it also because my son mentioned it to her on the ride home. And I texted my wife, and she was in stitches, I'm sure, because of all this.
Pretty good.
So yeah, karma's a bitch.
Pretty good shit.
Kelly got me pretty good. But yeah, that's how I feel about it. I don't want to spend too much time on it. I don't want every single episode of us to be talking about this.
No, because we need to spend some time talking about mental health. You know what I mean?
Pat, to be fair, but look, to be fair, Pat, the two go hand in hand, in my opinion.
I think there are certain arguments that absolutely agree with that.
Yeah. So, and God knows I do not want to talk about mental health, so we shouldn't talk about any of this.
Literally ever.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a time when like I would have like my jaw would have hit the floor. You would have been able to see where it hit the floor for like 10 years if I was you. And I probably would have dropped my fork as well, but I have a weird feeling you always keep a death grip on your fork, so that probably didn't happen, right?
Shit! Paul Walker. He says nothing. He's doing the old rope-a-dope, and then boom, haymaker right to the fucking
Draws you
throat.
right in and
I
gets
like
you.
it.
This fucking guy. No, I almost choked on my food because I was so like taken back by it. Like, it took me. I was like, "There's no fucking way this is happening to me." You know what I mean? Like, and then, like I put it all together. I knew it had to be some sort of prank that somebody was pulling on me.
What if
Did
it
you think he
wasn't?
was listening to the podcast?
No, because he knows better than to listen to the podcast.
What if you told him about that?
So I asked him if he knew where that came from, why Kelly asked him,
Yeah.
and I told him. I said there was, and because the conversation I had was with him about, because he played that joke on his friend's dad about being gay,
Yeah.
and I told him it's okay to be gay. You can't come to me and tell me you want to be a woman. I'm not okay with that, and you would not be able to do that until you're out of the house. So
That's where all this started.
yeah.
Right.
So I explained to him that that's where it came from. That I told that story on the podcast, and I said if you ever came to me and asked to be called Colleen, that I would never call you Colleen. I'd call you Colin. And so because he has to know where that comes from. That's a weird thing for somebody to say. Hey, go ask your dad about this.
Right.
But anyway, so moving forward.
I have a question for you. Do you like see the things that are happening on his phone? Like, can
Yeah.
you look at that? You have like parental
Yeah.
controls or whatever.
Yeah.
Do we have any Black Mirror fans here?
Yes, I've watched it.
So you know the episode where the mom can see everything on the kid's phone,
Yes.
but it's not just the phone; it's you can see through their eyes. There's an
Yeah.
episode on Black Mirror about this. It's kind of like the extenuation of what happens when you get two parental control. Like she walks out of the house, and the mom like blocks off a Rottweiler that's like jumping at her and scaring her, and like makes it so she can't see it anymore, and it gets blurred out. And then it's like everything until the point where you kind of learn not to be afraid of anything, and it ruins you because then when real danger is near, you're so used to it being filtered out, you don't know how to react.
Yeah.
It's the old let your kids play in the dirt. That's how they develop an immune system.
Exactly. I
gotcha.
feel like Tom's a little bit of that type of parent. Like you draw the line very hardly on some things, but you let him make his own mistakes because you know he has to learn.
Well, how else is he gonna learn?
Exactly.
Not only that, the more the better.
Not a lot of people.
Get them out of your system now.
Not all people think like that.
Well, no. Again,
How
this
about
is
at
gonna
least
get
children? Like,
this is going to get into a total different topic, but that's part of what's wrong, in my opinion, with our society is that people overparent. They are so like worried about sheltering their kids, and I think the dangers of the world have always been around, right? There's always been pedophiles, there's always been murderers and all that stuff. The stuff is just more prevalent because of social media and stuff like that. So it's always been there, though. You know what I mean? And so it's more magnified because it's easier to see it.
Right.
So people overreact and are worried about their kid getting taken or whatever. And I just don't, like, I'm cautious about
Right.
certain things. Like, I wouldn't feel comfortable with my son walking through downtown Torrington by himself, right, where I live. But my son walking to school by himself on my end of town, I'd be perfectly fine with that. I trust, and there's crazies everywhere, right? But you can't overprotect. Like, you get what I'm saying?
I do. I also think that, like, not that we've witnessed the death of old wives' tales, but like they've changed to, it's true because it was on the media or on the Facebook or on social media. So all of the things that we are terribly afraid of now are super amplified. I vividly remember when we would go and play out as kids, my parents would always have like a random thing to tell us before we went outside, whether like, if it was close to a storm, like, hey, if there's lightning, get inside. And back then, and in Virginia, it was like, get inside the closest house. Like, we don't have to know that, motherfucker. Just get inside.
Yeah.
And then, like, if there's not lightning for 5 minutes, go back outside. But that was like, okay, they got that news from the weather on the news. But they would also be like, hey, in the neighborhood, there was a white van that tried to grab some kid that lives 2 streets over, a week ago. So just be careful out there and don't talk to strangers.
Yeah.
I don't think that those things were necessarily true. I think that, a kid got kidnapped in a white van in one of the 50 states, and then that spread through word of mouth. And, your parents delivered that news to you the same way that now if something bad happens, social media delivers it immediately to everybody. So now everybody's afraid constantly. There's constantly things to be scared of.
Be afraid.
Yeah.
Like, that's how they want us to live.
Yeah.
Well, that's
So-
ratings on the news too. They perpetuate fear because that's where the audience is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
I
want,
I mean, that's what
I
the
think,
whole.
we've discussed this long form, why the media shares bad news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did in one of the episodes. But that's exactly why. They want fear or hate or all these things. That draws attention. People watch that. Even though how much they say it's disgusting, they want to watch it. Where me, I literally don't watch the news because of that. Because I
Right.
hate watching all the bad
that's all
things
it
in the
is.
world that maybe... Like, me and Mike actually had this conversation today about all the protesters around the country. it's 1% of 1%. Such a minute number but that's all you see. You think it's way worse than it is,
Right.
because that's all they're showing. You think it's happening in every city, in every town, and that's not the case. Yes, there have been probably silent protests or protests in multiple cities, but the numbers are so small, it's minute.
So the first Black Lives Matter protest I went to was in New Haven, and there was over 10,000 people there.
Okay.
The last one I went to, 30, 40.
Yeah, they were there because again,
Everything dissipates with time.
It was the cool thing to do.
Exactly.
And the
That
coverage of those protests didn't do them any favors either. As they increasingly got more violent and more of a
Right.
police presence, and just I think a lot of people. I mean, the initial Black Lives Matter protest seemed like it was a worthwhile endeavor, but once you start burning things down and the violence that occurs, I mean, people are going
Right.
to stay away. You go back to fear. Why would you go there to get shot? Why would you go to a protest to get shot? Everyone's going to stay home.
No one's going to Portland right now.
No.
Like, no one is going to Portland.
And they're leaving in
Oregon.
California in droves. Like anybody who can is getting out of there.
Yeah, along with, I get, it's the hot topic or the cool thing to do. I get that point. It was also a fresh wound. Now that wound is not fresh. People are healing. But yes, absolutely. The silent protests or the non-violent protests, why would you not go support on either side? What if you're going to the Blue Lives Matter, the Black Lives Matter, whatever? But as soon as people start acting irrationally, burning down a building isn't helpful. I
No.
get it. I totally get it. I get the logic. I get the theory, but it scares more people away than it brings in. And
Yeah, well, not for nothing. It's your community. It's your people that you're burning their stuff.
right,
And it discredits any message that you may have.
Not
that
only
you might
that-
be protesting for a worthwhile reason, but
it's so beyond taking away from your message, you're also going to get credit for other people's messages that you don't want. And I was just thinking that today.
Exactly.
That I don't know if you've seen the video. It's absolutely insane. The dude or woman, I don't know the person. The video's not great, but runs up to the car and just shoots the two cops. Shoots the female cop in the face twice. Shoots her in the arm. Shoots the other cop multiple times. I think he got shot in the head. And this woman, they're trying to get to the hospital. They can't get to the hospital because there's protesters blocking the hospital because they're cops. I don't know if that person was just a random criminal. I don't know if that person was somebody that one of them had bad blood with in high school. Well, I don't know what that story is, but I think that the majority of people will automatically lump that person in with the Black Lives Matter movement and say they're killing cops because they're black or because they're defending black. And it doesn't matter what's happening because the Black Lives Movement matter has had violent points in it. This is going to be added to that collection, whether it belongs there or not.
Yeah, but the problem, and I don't want to get too far into this, but the problem with that, the reason that they're going to get lumped into that too, is because those protesters were blocking the entrance to the hospital because they were cops. That's
Yeah.
which is
Yeah,
They're
I
still
don't
human
give a fuck
beings.
if they're cops. I don't give a fuck if they're
Yeah.
donkeys. They could have been.
they got shot
if
for no
somebody's
reason. They
wounded,
weren't bothering anybody.
and we had the ability to offer them treatment. I don't know if it would have healed them. I don't know if either one of them died or anything like that, but we had the opportunity to give them a better chance at success than what happened, and people stopped the better chance from happening. That's not okay under any circumstances.
Yeah. So anyway, let's move away from this. Andy has a topic that he wants to talk about now. He told me what it was. I don't know how far, really what we want to talk about with it.
well, it kind of is on the other end of the spectrum. Is that a lot of people since the pandemic started have been buying firearms.
Yes.
And
Oh,
I've been
yeah.
looking into it myself. Actually, I have a permit, but I haven't bought a gun yet. And I know
We
that.
should go gun shopping together.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I know that you went through this a few years ago, getting your permit and buying, you bought guns, you own guns, and I wanted to know from your perspective, what are some of the mistakes maybe you made when you were first learning about firearms, and what should I stay away from, and what are the pitfalls, and what are the things you should look for?
The first gun I bought was a Glock 17 Gen 2. It's an older gun. I bought it online. I bought it the day I went to Middletown and got my permit done.
Okay.
Because that's when I could buy. That's a full frame gun, so it's not a gun that you're going to carry, right?
What brought you to that gun to start?
It was cheap because it's an older gun.
Yeah.
It was cheap. I found it on an online website, and it was probably more like an impulse buy than anything. I thought I didn't know anything about guns, right?
Yeah.
Really, like I knew stuff, but like I didn't know about models and stuff like that. So it's a full frame. I thought I could carry that gun. You're not going to carry that gun. It's too big.
Yeah.
That's what like police officers carry.
Right.
You know what I mean? But what's funny is while I'm waiting for that gun, Erica wants. We're going to look at guns for her. Now she knows that she wants. Her uncle told her to get some sort of revolver. Gave her a couple ideas on models. One was a Ruger. I don't know what else. So we went up to Bass Pro, and they had one, an SP 101. It was used, and they come in different barrel lengths and stuff like that. So we're looking at them. So we find one that she's gonna buy. And while we're waiting for her, I'm looking around in the used gun rack, and there's a Kel-Tec. What is it? A PF9? Real small gun. It's probably just a little bit bigger than my hand.
Yeah.
But it was only like $200. So I was like, well, I'm waiting for this other one to get shipped. Might as well buy this one. Then I got a small one, I got a bigger one. So I buy it. Erica gets her gun, I get my gun, we go to the range. And I go to shoot it. And I put about 50 rounds through it. And my hand, like where my thumb meets my palm,
Yeah.
it's killing me. Because it's such a small, compact gun that it's put, every time you shoot it, it's just putting pressure there. You know what I mean? And it's killing me. So my recommend would be, now my favorite gun that I have is a Taurus PT 111, I think it is. 110, something like that.
Okay.
It's the same thing as a Glock 23. The only except it's rounded on the back. It's not like, Glocks are squared.
Yes.
This one's rounded on the back. Same size frame, same everything. Perfect size to carry. So I would find something in the middle. 10 round mag is perfect. Which you can only carry that here anyway.
Right.
You don't want to buy something too small, like a 380 or something like that, for shooting. I think a 380 is a perfect conceal gun.
Yeah.
For an emergency.
So the thing you're looking at is comfortability in your hand.
For going to the range.
Yeah.
You know
What
what
you
I mean?
want to do as a new shooter because you want to practice to be
Yeah.
better. Right.
You also have to look at why you're buying the gun. Super important.
Yeah,
you
like
wanna
if
go
you're
to the
going to
range?
carry, like, are you planning on carrying? Or are you just doing it for the house?
I think it's more or less just for the house at this point, and then just I want to be more proficient
So
in
to be honest
shooting
with
and
you,
get good at it, and then
if-
go from there. You
If
know
that's
what I
the
mean?
case, then I would get a full frame.
Yeah.
I would get a full, because if you're only using it for a house and you're not planning on carrying it outside the house, why not have a full frame? One, illegally, you can have more rounds in the mag.
Yeah.
You can get a higher. Actually, that's not true. You can have a higher capacity mag in your house. You just can't carry
You just can't carry more than 10.
a higher capacity mag. You can go to the range with a higher capacity mag. You know what I mean? You just, when you leave the range, it cannot be in your gun.
Can you own hollow tips in Connecticut?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You can,
I'm going to give a completely different answer.
I also think if you're doing it for home defense, because I know what he's going to say, you should buy a shotgun.
Yeah.
Right. I was looking at Mossberg's the other day. I
So
think I'm going to go
not,
get
not
myself
just
a-
a, not just a
Keep it
shotgun.
on your bed.
Yeah.
Not just a shotgun, but specifically something that you have to rack. A pump shotgun. So here's the thing. No, for real.
What, for the noise?
As a home intruder,
Yeah.
If
You
I
hear that?
if I reach
Yeah.
into my cabinet and pull my handgun, you're not running away.
Okay.
We're gonna have a gunfight. Somebody's gonna get shot.
Yeah.
If I rack my shotgun, there's a solid possibility, not an inevitability, but there's a possibility that you're like, fuck this, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
And you just leave.
I could turn them around right there.
So your pump action shotgun has resolved the issue. Call the cops. Everybody's good.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna. Well, I agree with Pat. That is the right thing to do. If somebody breaks into my house, I want to kill them because you shouldn't be breaking into my house.
Well, no, but somebody who broke into your house could be dealing with a plethora of issues from. I mean, they could just be a drug addict who's having an off
They could
period
be
in their life. Drug addicts recover and
schizophrenic.
make full recoveries all the time and become contributing members of society. They could have mental
don't-
health issues,
I don't change my stance on this. I'm not gonna. I agree with you. Those are all true.
but they deserve to die if they're in your house.
If they break in, yeah, don't break the law.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? You're giving the criminals a last chance, where last week you were killing people indiscriminately.
No, don't get me wrong. Wait, why was I
But when
killing
somebody
people?
breaks into your house, you want to give them
You were
every
gonna
chance
kill
in the
your
world.
dad for the love of your
Right.
life, man.
That was
Yeah.
a hypothetical.
But that's right, and 2 out of the
mean,
3 of those, you were killing people.
has anyone
but
ever
when they
broken
come
into
into
your
your house,
Yeah.
we're
Cats make them
gonna
dinner.
pump the shotgun and we're gonna give them a chance.
It's not that I'm going to give them a chance. If they don't run, the shotgun will catch them. I mean, you're still. It's not that I'm not willing to kill somebody before they kill me. It's that I don't think anybody should have to die if there's a situation where somebody doesn't have to die.
Have any of you shot at someone in your life?
No.
I have been shot at. I have never shot at somebody.
Have you?
Terrifying,
Yes.
let me tell
Yeah.
you.
Yes.
How'd you feel?
I was so pissed off. So I got punched in the face with brass knuckles and robbed over like
I
something
guess
so
we know where
small
the-
it didn't really
I
matter.
guess we know where that
And
brass
I
knuckle
tried
came from.
I tried to shoot the person.
Okay.
And I think I could have been a cold-blooded killer in a different life because I had no remorse. I had a Beretta pocket pistol that literally fit in the size of your palm, and I had hollow tips, and it was an 8-in-1. So I fired all 9 shots, no remorse. I wanted that person to die.
But you
Wow.
didn't hit him once, did you?
No. Do you know? So I didn't
So
get
Mike's a
knocked
bad
out,
shape.
but I got knocked down.
got
I
hit in
broke
the
15
face,
bones
yeah.
in my face. I had a very severe concussion, and when I landed on the ground, I grabbed it out of my hip and started shooting. This kid was a track star at my college, so he was gone. Like, I was just so angry I wanted him to die. It's
You
not
didn't get
like
knocked
I really
out?
had this shot. Huh?
You weren't knocked out?
No.
Wow.
How was your vision?
I honestly, as soon as I got up, I was good. Once I stood up after I fired the shots, once I threw the magazine as far into the woods as I could possibly throw it and stashed everything and the cops were on their way, I felt fine because my adrenaline was rushing
Yeah.
so hard. Wow. Everyone else was freaking out and I was just like, I need to go to the hospital.
Where was this?
North Carolina.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mike lived a different life.
Mike, I'm just throwing it out there.
Now.
I'm looking for a training partner to, hit some mitts and put some
Gee,
gloves on.
every-
Yeah.
If you want to not get 15 bones broken in your face next time, we should practice that shit.
I would
man.
love to.
Excellent.
It's I don't know if you've ever been jumped by someone with brass knuckles and you weren't looking, but there's not really a fight there.
Where'd they hit you?
No.
Directly in my nose. I
Right.
have a little scar. It's kind of hard to see, but right across the bridge
Yeah,
of
you
my
can
nose.
see it. Wow.
Yeah.
Anybody else have anything else they want to add into?
No, does
Andy's
anybody
first-
else feel uncomfortable being here with Paul Walker at this point? You know what?
I feel
Let's just.
safe.
You know,
No,
I
that's
feel
cool
safe.
with
I
me.
think you're a great guy, man. Just a real great guy.
The point was though that like you don't know how you're gonna react when that happens, and something they say in the military is that a lot of people, especially in the Civil War and stuff, didn't want to kill other human beings, but they were forced into it because it's the war they needed to have over their territory. And it was something like I read 40 or 60% of people would purposely shoot over their heads because they didn't want to kill anyone. They just wanted to be there to support the people that they were standing with. So you never really know how you're going to react in that situation.
Right.
Anybody
So-
else feel like that's a huge waste of ammo and?
Well, they don't want to be
your
thought
side's
of as a
money?
coward. That's
Right.
why they're
I'm
out
just
there.
saying
Exactly.
that's a
That's-
lot.
I mean-
that's a lot of dollars.
Back as you're talking the Civil War, that was a very big deal. That honor was a lot more important than it is now. To where you had to. I mean, everybody in your town went. Like you, and
Right.
if you were an able-bodied, you had to go.
Right.
Hatfields and
So-
McCoy's great movie.
Oh, so good. And to Tom's point, I mean, the first time or the 10th time you shoot a gun shouldn't be when someone's breaking in your house. If you own the gun and you have time, you can get the ammunition and spend time at the range.
Yeah.
You should not only train yourself initially, but always keep training yourself.
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
I-
Hold on.
Especially the
Eric
older
and
you
I
get.
keep saying that we need to go to the range, and I keep pushing off. But we should get together. the four of us.
Absolutely.
At some
Yeah.
point, I will personally be the videographer. We are going to make a montage of Andy, day 1 to like day 30, learning to use his gun, and we're gonna set it to Tupac, Me and My Girlfriend, which was a song about his gun, and this whole thing is gonna be so good about Andy. Just like we're gonna put it like on the pillow next to him when he's sleeping. He's gonna have it like right outside the shower. It's gonna be a great video. I'm
There
very
you go.
excited, Andy the driver.
If you're not worried about price, either, I would definitely buy a Glock. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no reason not to. That or a SIG.
But what about a
That's what I was
H&K?
looking at.
I've never shot an
Heckler
HK.
and Koch, that's what the SEALs use. I think some of those are freaking deadly. They go like 100 yards. They have the accuracy of an assault rifle, and their pistols are insane.
Really?
Yeah, but I mean, you're gonna spend $3 or $4 grand. You're not
Yeah,
gonna
I'm
spend
not
200
spending
bucks.
that.
Yeah.
Apparently, at Wolf's, he has guns you can rent over there that
Yeah,
you
a
can
lot of
just try.
ranges
He's
do.
got like 50 different styles
So does
over there that you can go.
Hoffman's.
Do they?
Yeah, Hoffman has
Yeah.
a whole bunch.
That's what I was. I was gonna go over. I wanted to go over there and try them
The only
out.
problem with that is that you have to buy their ammo, and they overprice their ammo at the range.
Well, I mean, it might be worth just paying for the ammo just to figure out
Yeah.
what you like and what you want
Well,
to go
especially
with.
because if, like, my most expensive guns was probably Erica's Ruger. It's probably the most. It was $200 for my Taurus, which is by far my favorite gun.
Yeah.
It was, I think I paid $350 for the Glock, and I paid $200 for that Caltech I still have. And then Erica's revolver was probably like $500.
Yeah.
But again, it's a Ruger. A Ruger's a great gun. They make a great 380. Like I said, I was thinking about, unfortunately, she can't carry it, but when stuff gets a little crazy at schools, I'm like, you should really get a 380 and carry it with you, because you losing your job isn't as important as you losing your life if some kid decides to come in and go a little nuts.
And you know, another really important reason to train yourself is because more people get killed with their own guns than they kill people trying to attack them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to know how to use it. You have to know where it is. You have to know how to unholster it. You have to know everything about it if you're gonna have it.
Yeah. You can't be tentative with it. You have to be proficient
Right.
with
Yeah,
it.
you have
it's
to be comfortable and
yeah.
ready to go.
Yeah.
And when all this COVID stuff started happening, so I keep my guns locked up generally. Especially when my son is there now, and now that he's there full time, I keep everything locked up. When he's not there, sometimes I'll sleep with one in the nightstand just in case, because I don't have to run to my safe to grab one. But if he's in the house, I don't feel comfortable because he knows I have guns. He's never actually shot. I have a laser target
Yeah.
that I've let him shoot with one of my guns. And I've explained to him, like, if you ever see one of my guns laying around, you don't mess around with it. Always assume it's loaded, you know. But when all this COVID stuff started happening, I was worried about shit like popping off, right? Like
Yeah.
people just going nuts.
Yeah.
Well, desperate times, desperate measures. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Sure.
So and Erica was home all day by herself. So I put one on top of the fridge. I unloaded it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
just had the gun up there, and I put the magazine in my spice drawer. And I told Erica, I said, if anybody breaks in the house or anything, it's up on top of the fridge. Just grab it. Magazine's in there. Put it in. As soon as you hit the slide, it's gonna load, and you can start shooting. And which she knows all that. She shot all my guns.
Yeah.
But like that's the only time I really ever left a gun laying around the house, because you know I always like people are in and out. You don't want somebody finding your gun.
Especially with your son too. I'm sure you tell him and everything too, but I mean, you're 12 years old. There's going to be a certain amount of rebellion there
well,
that you're going to do
especially
whatever
if
you
I'm
want
more
to do.
worried about his friends. Yeah, that's exactly. His friends don't seem like
You know, so
most similar to
which-
him.
My dad, we were down in Virginia. So my parents, I don't know, a couple years ago now, I bought guns. I had my permit and all that. My mom wasn't necessarily about that life. But then they were down south for a little while, and they're like, we're going to get guns. And my dad really wanted to get a gun. So they went. In Virginia, it's open carry. Anybody can go buy a gun. Anybody.
Yeah.
You just have to pass the background check. So they actually went and took their concealed carry permit test and got their concealed carry permits. And somebody just walked up here and walked away.
Random hippie.
So I went down and I went and bought them with them. You know,
Yeah.
my mom bought a revolver. My dad bought a Sky, a SCYY, I think it's, or SCCY. It's a nice little gun. It's $200, something like that. Not bad. We go to the range. So I'm gonna tell two stories. We go to the range that day, right? And my mom's shooting a revolver with my wife. Me and my dad are shooting his pistol. And my dad's like, you know, your mom should probably shoot my gun. And I'm like, yeah, you know, and you shoot hers, you know, so you guys can get comfortable with them, whatever. So when mom comes over, and I'm not really paying attention, but when you go to gun training, they teach you that when you hold the gun,
They also teach you to pay attention. Sorry, continue.
I wasn't really paying attention about how she was holding the gun.
I wasn't paying attention because I had been
Well, I
drinking
also-
since the morning.
But I had also explained to her before, and I should have. I take partial responsibility for this. But when you hold it, you hold it when you're down hand, obviously. Your index finger never goes on the trigger until you're ready to fire, but your non-dominant hand wraps around the fingers and stays on the side of the gun. it doesn't, and you don't cross your thumbs. Your thumbs stay next to each other on the non-dominant side of the gun.
Yeah.
So I'm not paying attention. My mom wraps her 2 thumbs around the back of the gun.
Oh no.
Right?
It kicked back.
No, it didn't kick back. When the slide came back to reload,
Pinch the shit out of her.
it cut her thumb wide open.
Oh.
So she doesn't realize it. She thought a shell came out of the booth next to her, because these booths, like, they had 5 booths set up like as wide as this picnic table.
But
It
there
was 5
weren't
booths. It was-
partitions, right?
There were small ones,
okay.
man, but it was
it
not
could get
a,
over.
Stuff
yeah.
was still jumping around.
it was not a good gun range.
The South is a different world.
Yeah. So she just thought something came in her thumb. She kept going, and I looked down, and there's blood all over the ground. She's bleeding all over the place. So we leave, and she's like, I might have to go get a stitch. And luckily she didn't. We were fine. I don't know if she's ever shot that gun again. I don't even know if they've ever been in the range since. But so we're down there last year. It might have been earlier this year. My dad's selling something on OfferUp, right? So, and I don't ask him where his guns are and shit. I don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But my son's there with me. And I don't think my son knew that they had guns, which he doesn't need to know every house he goes into that they have guns. So my dad's like, oh, I gotta run over to Home Depot. I'm selling this thing. And he goes up, and I'm not gonna tell you where it was, but he was hiding the gun, and the magazine was somewhere up. So he grabs the gun, puts the magazine in, and all this is happening in front of my son. Now I didn't even know it was there, so I'm like, oh, it's pretty good hiding spot. You know what I mean? And he walks out, and then he texts me after he sells the thing. He goes, I probably shouldn't have done that in front of Colin. And I was like, I don't think it's a big deal. He knows that I have guns. I don't know if he assumed you have guns. I'll say something to him before you get back and make sure that he doesn't touch anything
Yeah.
where those were.
And now he knows ain't nobody fucking with Grandpa, so
Yeah.
that's always good too.
Well, and that's, you know, and especially in a kid's eyes, especially my son, he's been through a lot of traumatic situations and different situations in his life, not with me. So I thought it was important to tell him, like, look, you have nothing to be afraid of here.
right.
You know what I mean? If somebody comes here, they're
Not leaving here.
yeah, they're not leaving if they're coming here for bad
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just to get, because, you know, he's restless. He's a kid. You know, he has a lot to worry about. Or he doesn't have a lot to worry about. He thinks he has a lot to worry about.
Right.
So that's pretty much that. Is there anything else you guys wanted to cover with this?
No, that's a good start. We'll have to go to the range
gonna-
and we'll go from there.
Oh, I'm down.
All right.
I'm down.
That's what we'll do.
We'll get Erica. Maybe we'll even get, maybe I'll go buy a small 22 revolver for Colin.
I can legally possess guns again in 2 months.
Nice.
What happened?
It's a whole different story for another time, man.
we'll do that on next Thursday's episode.
All right. That'll be another
If we
reveal.
do this again. It's getting dark earlier, so
Can't wait.
It's
We
this is
we
about the-
started even later than last time.
I know.
yeah,
that
this
was
is about
bad.
the time we wrapped up last time, and I'm telling you, it's dark out here, and we're all alone.
We have more topics to cover as well.
Yeah, we do. So we're gonna do some Would You Rather's with Mr. Paul Walker.
There we go.
Oh man, we gotta do the Mad Lib too.
Mad Lib's coming.
Do you want to do the mat? Well, my
Let's-
phone's about to die soon.
So let's do these, and then we'll do the Mad Lib.
All right. So
We got to come up with a segue song for Would You Rather's.
Okay.
a little
work on
bit
it
of
this
this,
weekend.
a little bit of that. Right?
What is he worried about getting locked in here?
Andy has
they lock
disappeared.
us in?
He's run into the night. So this is a classic one, but would you rather fight one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses? Andy, you want to go
One
first?
horse-sized duck.
Or 100 duck-sized horses? 100.
I know my answer for this.
I do too.
I think the one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
going one just because.
Are you guys
What is that?
Paul Walker is leaned across the table, almost in these guys' faces.
Do you think you could
chomping
fight
at the
100
bit,
regular ducks?
excited for their answer?
That's what I'm saying.
Right. If the 100 ducks swarms you, you're
Yes,
done.
I think I would fuck
No.
100 ducks
Not 100.
gay up.
No.
No, it's not 100 ducks. It's 100 horses.
But the thing about ducks is that
Yeah, it's 100 horses.
yeah.
You couldn't fight one horse.
But my thought process
And are they
is
aggressive?
I could fight 100 ducks, Because like they don't all attack you at once. Ducks like kind of pay attention, and then when they see their friend getting messed up, they go in. It'd kind of be like in waves.
Again, these are not ducks; they're horses.
Right.
They're little, teeny, tiny duck-sized
Little
horses.
teeny tiny horses. So you don't. All right, about the size of a cat, let's say.
Sure.
Yeah, you
How
want to
far
fight
do
A
you
fucking
think-
huge duck. It's like
How-
a turkey
If
duck.
100 of them get serious
I would
on
want
you,
to
you're in
fight them.
trouble.
I would. But I've.
You ever
like,
see a
I
horse's
haven't-
teeth? They can fuck you up.
I haven't punted a cat or 100 cats, but they're about the same size, and I feel like I could kick the shit out of them.
Not
I,
100 of them. If
here's
they
the thing.
swarm you,
And
you're
they're
done.
horses. They have limitations. It's not like they can like
They're fucking
turn
horses,
around
dude.
and
You
jump on a
understand that
balcony.
cowboys
Like
used
they
to
can
ride those
only
across
do.
the country, right?
Yeah, they can only do so much.
You're fucking crazy.
They can't turn.
Hold on,
Strength-
hold on.
strength in numbers,
You
my man. You
understand
gotta
that
go with the
Cowboys
one.
did not ride duck-sized horses across the country, right?
It's true.
Yeah,
It's not the same thing.
but they're fucking horses.
Oh my God, they'd be like horser skates. You could go to the skating rink
They'd be
and
like a
stay
bunch
on
of-
your horses.
It'd be like a bunch of miniature ponies.
No, miniature ponies are not duck-sized. Miniature ponies are donkey-sized.
Ducks are fucking 2 feet by a foot, man. They're little like
You guys are-
horses that
I'm
big.
throwing this
You're
out there.
with Paul Walker on
I am
this?
100% fighting 100.
You guys. Are
You're not.
Yeah.
You guys aren't
Horses.
fighting 100 of anything.
Dude.
Like that's not
All right, would you fight 10 ducks?
regular ducks?
10 regular
10
ducks.
regular ducks.
Maybe.
Yeah,
So
you could get 10
one
of them.
duck, 50 times the size of a normal duck, you would fight that.
Yeah.
You're freaking insane.
Okay, think about
that
this.
thing
Think-
could kill you by flying near you.
You can't.
It would knock you out with its wing.
You
Like,
have to use special ammo to shoot foul.
But the nice-
because you can't penetrate their feathers. That horse-sized duck would be almost impenetrable.
a fucking
You
dragon.
would
Yeah, but no,
be
because
so
that neck is
fucked
going to
trying
be
to
that
hurt
neck
it.
is going to be little.
it would be a dragon with a fucking beak, and it could shit on your car so effectively.
Here's-
Your whole car would be covered in one.
I didn't
shit.
even think about the duck turds. This is what I was thinking about.
The size of the shit is something to consider.
The duck, the duck would be able to use his wing wind to blow you over. Like you wouldn't even be able to regain your composure or have balance. At least with the horses, you have a chance. Just kick the fuck out of everything that
So
moves.
here's the deal, right?
I'm,
Not
is
100
anybody
of
else
them.
picturing
There's a good chance.
100 Sarah Jessica Parkers? That's what I've been picturing this whole time. I don't know how that happened.
So here's the thing, right? There's a good chance that if you're fighting 100 miniature horses or duck-sized horses, you're gonna die. At
From
least-
what? What are they going to kill you with?
Maybe, but there's a
Their
guarantee.
Their little teeny tiny baby hooves?
When there's 100 of them all just nailing
You know
you,
how strong a
it's
fucking
not-
horse is?
that's
not-
400
You know how
hooves.
strong a duck-sized horse is?
Dude, they're
It's about as
limited.
strong as a horse.
I'm sorry. I can't tell if you're serious or not. That's the problem.
You don't think a duck-sized horse is as strong as a regular horse?
No, I don't. No, I do
think
not.
it's
You think
way
they're
more
stronger?
agile.
No, I think they're nowhere near as strong.
It can fly, bro. The
I think-
horses can
Hold on.
only get up to your knees max.
Yeah, these
Like,
aren't
you can't jump
unicorns.
that
These are
high.
regular horses.
You wouldn't even have to bend down. You just fucking kick
That's
them.
what I'm saying.
You think that when we shrink them down to what would effectively be maybe a 100th of their size, they would retain all that muscle? They don't have the muscle mass. They can't.
I would imagine they would be just as much.
but there is a lot of them.
Yeah, man, there's a lot of them, and 100's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let's change
You
this
just gotta
question.
thin the herd,
Let's change
though.
this question to make it slightly more logical.
Listen, I've been playing a game called Age of Empires.
Even if you get half of them, it's still 50 of them coming at you.
So
Yeah,
you
man.
keep
It's
kicking.
a lot. It's a lot of
So you keep kicking. You're gonna run out of energy.
Yeah, you're going to run out of steam. I don't think you got a lot in the tank there, Patrick.
I wouldn't
You're 90
wanna
pounds
fight,
overweight, according to Paul Walker.
I wouldn't want to fight something that is the size of a horse that can fucking fly. That's what I'm saying. Cause like, bro, at any point in the fight, it can just be like, nah, peace, I'll be back in 10, and then you're just running around.
Yeah, but
like,
can't
what
you
the
just
fuck
jump
do
on
I
the
do?
back of the big duck? Take the duck's back and just choke it out.
Yeah, choke it out.
Andy,
So-
have you
What?
ever-
Okay, the problem is you guys have watched too many fucking movies, and
Well,
Paul
we're
Walker
talking
and I
about
are
a
living in the real
horse-sized
world.
duck here, so I mean, what
That's
are we talking about?
terrifying. Listen,
It's terrifying.
would you rather fight, okay, The Rock, the great one, the people's champion, the most electrifying man in sports entertainment, one-on-one, or 100 toddlers? Because that's really, like, right?
Yeah.
I would much rather beat the shit out of the 100 toddlers, because I'm not taking a hit from The Rock.
I'd rather take a
Facts.
hit from the rock.
Really?
Really?
You think you stand a better chance one-on-one against Dwayne fucking Johnson than 100 toddlers?
But which the difference is that yes, it's 100 toddlers, but you're forgetting that horses are super muscular.
So was the so's
Toddlers
the Rock.
are not.
Bro,
Okay.
Yeah, toddlers
Oh my
aren't gonna
God.
do
Listen.
anything.
It's little horses. They can't be as strong as the big horse. That's
I
not
don't
a thing.
think they're as strong. What I'm saying is,
Let
even
me
if
ask
you
you a
divided their strength
Even if
by
you,
100,
it's still a strong animal.
it's still strong. Probably as me.
Okay, so what if you magnified a duck's strength?
It's
to that
probably like
level.
me.
No.
I don't think a duck.
First
has much
off, if
strength.
anything, you'd be a pig.
Yeah, what's a duck gonna really do to you? Besides, kind of, I mean, what's a duck gonna do?
Again,
A duck can fly. Listen, no one gets knocked out in an MMA fight by someone hitting them below their knee.
You
They
know-
can't go that high.
you
Like,
know how
they're
hard
super limited.
you know how hard a duck's
Yeah,
feet
until
must
they-
be from
until they
walking
trip you
around
up,
all day
and
with
then
no
they
shoes
pounce
on.
all over you and,
Yeah.
crush your
What if
skull.
one of the horses just bites your Achilles and now you're down? Now you're on the ground with 100 shitty
What I said,
horses
this is
on-
about
and you're on the
Hollywood, and
ground.
now you're just reciting what happened in Troy.
I mean-
They're acting like
Yeah.
these horses are freaking ATVs from Star Wars. And they're gonna
You guys
go
act like
around
a
you
duck
with
is
ropes.
unstoppable. It's a duck.
It's a super duck.
It's a duck.
It's a dragon with a teeth.
What's the next would you rather? I'm tired of this bullshit. This
So
duck
that's
shit, if you will.
So that's 2-2. That's a tie.
Yeah, we're very divided on
Oh, wow.
that. I like the energy.
I like how we divided on the
smart
sides of the
versus the
table.
dumbs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next
that side of
one-
the table. Okay.
If you guys don't mind, I'd like Tom to answer this one first.
All right.
Would you rather be half your height or twice your weight?
I already answered this earlier today. I said because you keep the same proportion that you are now, right? So I would keep my same
Not-
weight
no,
if I
I-
went half the size.
I think you'd be half your weight. That's how it would have to work.
Wait, are you half your height?
You
Just
would
your
be
height?
you would, if you're half your height, you're
Okay.
also then half your weight. It
But
all
you
makes
still have the
sense.
same proportion to
Proportion.
what you are. You're
Right.
just smaller.
Right, but if you double your weight,
You don't.
you're the same height.
You're the same height and you're
Exactly.
obese by a mile.
I'm already obese by a half a mile.
You want to just double down?
Oh man, I don't know.
Tom, like at that point, are you
I can't get
being
much
wheelbarrowed?
shorter. I can't get much shorter, man. That's the problem.
All right,
I'm already
you'd
pretty
be
short.
how tall are you?
5'7" on a
So
good
you'd
day.
be
5'7" with boots on.
you'd be 2 3/4 feet.
Yeah.
So you'd be like belt height all the time.
Yeah, that's.
Not really
Yeah,
limits
man.
you.
I'm going twice my weight.
I know it's not polite to ask this. You know what? I'm not even gonna do it.
I'd be pushing over 500.
Right, like at that point, I don't know how it works. I watched my 600-pound life, but like, do you get out of bed?
Yeah, man. What do you think? Nobody's gonna keep me down.
Fully believe you. Maybe except
So-
yourself and your massive amount of body weight.
Yeah.
You literally, gravity is not kind to those over 500 pounds.
No, that's a lot of move. That's a lot
Here's
to
the
move
thing,
around.
man. If I was twice my size, I could always lose weight. You can never grow.
Have you seen Wall-E? I feel like your bones would start to shrink. Like you'd just be in a cart the rest of your life.
that
You'd
the
be one
movie
of
with
those
the
cart
robot?
people. Yeah. And all
never
the
seen it.
humans are super lazy and they just float around.
That's life, man.
All right.
All right, Andy.
You know, I don't think I want to be small. I'd rather. I mean, if I doubled my weight, I'm
Let's
not.
be fair.
I'm not really in that bad a shape.
You're
only
one,
one
one normal Tom.
Yeah.
The only one that this is really gonna affect is me and Pat.
I disagree.
Well, yeah, because then you guys start starting to talk about some big numbers if you double the weight.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Like
saying.
you're talking handicapped.
Yeah.
area.
So the only one that this
You
really
motherfucker.
by doubling our weight, the only one that really affects is Pat and I, because you two, Driver Andy and Paul Walker, are like toothpicks.
Well, I think I
And
wouldn't
who-
say
nobody-
toothpicks. I'd say we're.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, you're normal sized people.
Right,
Pat and I like food
I
a lot.
I would take the height.
Yeah.
I'd go
Yeah.
half my height
Why?
Why?
because I don't want to be 360. It's a lot. I can't live like that.
You're 180 pounds?
Yeah. Surprising,
He's
I know.
tall as fuck.
That's what I am too. 175, 180.
Yeah. We fluctuate.
I remember being
Yeah,
175,
listen.
180 myself.
Listen, one meal can put us up a couple of pounds. All right, you guys just freaking.
I
It
haven't
just
weighed
all goes
180
in there.
pounds since I was in high school. That's no joke.
One good shit, I'm right back down.
Yeah,
Every
you
time.
know, that's all it takes.
I shit you. I shit a Paul Walker when I'm on the toilet.
You wish it looked that good.
I crack porcelain when I shit. I'm going double my size. I could not I could not be half my height, double my size. I'm perfectly fine with. Fat dudes get chicks. Fat dudes hold down jobs.
Yeah.
Not that short people don't get chicks and hold down jobs. I just feel like I'm used to being fat.
Short and fat.
Yeah, so I'm
Yeah,
okay
we're
with
already
just getting
short
fatter.
and fat. It doesn't matter. We're just gonna get fat.
I've actually gotten fatter every day since like junior year of high school, so I'm pretty used to it. I'm good with it.
I was like 15 years ago. About.
So you two,
Yeah.
are you
Damn.
taking double the weight or are you
real.
taking half the size?
I'm taking double the weight.
So
I'm
three.
the only one.
It was like 18 years ago.
Here's my.
I don't want to
thought.
be little. Dwarfs or little people, they don't get any respect at all.
For real.
They
you
really
guys-
don't. It's unfortunate, but they don't.
Shout out to Warwick Davis. He played Willow and the Leprechaun.
And then he was done. And then he had no career.
I doubt that. I bet if we IMDb Warwick Davis, he's
The only guy
some good
that's
stuff.
then there's what's his name?
Fucking Wee Man.
Pat, hand me my phone.
I don't know
Peter
who he is.
Dinklage. He has
Here's
a
how
career.
Yeah.
Here's how I look at it though. Like, being twice my weight closes a lot of doors. Doesn't really open many. Being half my height, you got midget wrestling. Tell me, none of you have ever fantasized about fucking a midget. You think that's
Never.
only men?
Never. I've never been into that.
Huh?
See?
You've never considered fucking a midget?
Nah, not really. my
We
thing.
shouldn't say midget. I don't even know what the acceptable term is
Dwarf.
anymore.
Dwarf is okay. I
There's
think.
no way that's the right term.
I think
Dwarf
dwarf
or
is
small
okay.
person.
Yeah, or little people.
Or it, as Tom would say.
Oh, that's fucked up.
Under the general umbrella.
I'd like to retract my use of the word midget, and I'd like to go with dwarf, I guess.
I think dwarf is okay.
They are dwarf hamsters when we refer to the smaller.
I don't think you want to
hamsters.
compare them to animals because they're people,
I'm not just comparing them. I'm comparing the names.
which is comparing them.
Yeah, man, it doesn't matter.
Tom,
Does somebody
really?
want
I'd have to get new golf clubs.
For those of you listening at home, it is pitch black out here. Do one of you guys want to turn on your flashlight on your phone and just point it up in the sky so we can see each other?
Yeah, sure, Tom. You have 2 phones. Go ahead.
That's true. One of them's about to die though, and I need the other one for our next segment.
What's our next segment?
Oh, God.
What we forgot to talk about in the last episode.
What did we forget to talk about in the last
Foosball?
episode?
Fucking football, man.
Foosball, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Bobby Boucher, let's go.
There was something else that I wanted to do too.
The Mad Lib.
Mad Lib.
Oh yeah, shit, we gotta do the Mad Lib. But all right, so we're gonna do the Mad Lib, and then we'll end it out with some football talk. We'll talk about all our favorite teams. I think out of the 4 of us, Pat doesn't have a favorite team.
He's a
That-
Ravens fan.
He's not a Ravens fan.
He's a Ravens
You guys said you had multiple surprises for me. I only got one. Are there more surprises coming?
No.
No more surprises.
No. The surprise was that there actually are no more surprises. Surprise, man.
I am quite surprised. Andy, the driver, if you could shine that light more directly into my fucking eyeballs, that'd be great. Oh, wow, he did it. He did it. Right on in. If you put that like that, it'll act as a lamp.
Wow, that's good thinking, Pat.
Look at that, high tech.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm pretty smart. Oh, there's a parade of cars coming into the night zone.
You mean 2?
Guaranteed you that's a married chick and a guy that are gonna bang over here, and they're not married.
Married
think
people
the
are just
guy's
coming here
married.
to fuck.
I don't think they're married. I think one of them's a married chick and the other
Thinking
one's
it's
a
an
random
affair?
guy.
Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying that I've used this parking lot before, but I've.
You guys are sure there's no more surprises? Because we just had this conversation. Now there's cars just pulling around.
They are going very fast.
Oh, what's this car?
Oh my god! I hope they hit head to head.
Are we about to get jumped?
I hope that guy's not locking gates for this place. Because if we get locked in here, I'm gonna be upset.
They're still playing softball over on the field.
I don't
The lights
understand.
on,
Where's
so
the
we should be
gate?
good.
I've never seen a gate.
There's a gate over there.
So we're already past it.
Oh yeah, we're in here.
Yeah, we're in here for good.
But I think they'd
That's
have
a
to do. I
AAA
think they
truck.
got to do a lap before they start shutting gates.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we got vehicles. All right, we're good.
We're all right.
All right. So,
I'm not getting eaten alive tonight. This is nice.
Yeah, it's nice.
I wore pants.
Because we're not in the woods. We were in the trees over there before.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
this
that caused.
pavilion idea was ideal.
I wore jeans strictly to protect myself from the mosquitoes.
So I think this is what we talk about when we get sidetracked.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah. This is a complete sidetrack.
it happens. All right, so Pat, let's do this Mad Lib, then we'll talk some football.
Okay.
You ready? This is supposed to be a memory story, but I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna go back and put it in the memories intro. So, memories with a silver lining message.
Memories.
What's this? What memory are we doing?
Wasn't it supposed to be like a memory thing?
What
Because you're
was?
describing.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Stop looking at the car and concentrate on what you're
The
doing.
car looks like a straight up drive-by.
It'll be fine.
Me and Andy have guns. We're good. You're worried about a drive-by, dude? We're in Southington.
We're in a drive-in theater. It kind of fits.
Would that
Drive-in,
be a
drive-out.
drive-in shooting? All right. So at the request of Tom's mom, we're going to try to tone down the offensiveness of my sex stories by making them a little lighter. So I've created a Mad Lib. I gave Tom several categories that he had to choose the fill in your blanks for, so that when I read my Mad Lib, I'm not telling the story. I'm just going to read the story as it's written.
So
some
you
of it's,
wrote the story, and then
I did.
put
I wrote
words.
the story with blanks, and then I just gave you kind of, so it doesn't make no sense, some guidelines. Tom has not seen the story. Nobody's seen the story except for myself, and actually Emily was over last night, and she took a gander at the story because she wanted to do the Mad Lib. So the story is as follows. One day, a loose woman and I were doing the hibbity-dibbity in a position commonly referred to by trans kids as beaver style. Fingernails, that's the girl's name, Fingernails, was into badonkadonk play, so I decided that I'd claw inside her poo-poo dispensary. Once I was knuckle deep inside her, I noticed that my finger was clenching something that felt squishy. Once I abolished my submerged digit from her Coca-Cola hole, I grabbed onto her hips like a pair of pliers and wiped the Three Musketeers residue off on her liver cage. So there you go. That is a toned down version of a story. Silver lining, be careful what you ask for, you just might get it.
So I just want to sum up this Mad Lib. You were doing butt play with a woman
Yep.
and you were using your fingers inside her beehole, correct?
Yep.
And you got poo-poo underneath your fingernail,
Correct.
and then rubbed it on her body.
What else was I going to do, man? I didn't want to tell her because I didn't want to stop, but I couldn't rub it on my body because, I mean, that's somebody else's shit
There's another guy.
Where'd you rub it?
on her rib cage.
It's a long way to travel, I'm not going to lie. There were better options that she would not have known about.
She never knew. In fact, if she listens to the podcast, this will be her finding out moment. She'll be like, "Oh, I remember that day. That's what was on that shirt."
Jesus, Pat, you're a foul human being. But more importantly, there is a hilarious story by one of the guys that we work with that we need to get him on the show. We'll muffle his voice so that we can hear his poop sex story.
Does he have a nickname?
No,
Okay.
no, he doesn't have a nickname. But we're getting too far away from the mic. All right, so we had to pause there for a second. We're gonna do some football stuff. Did everybody watch football last weekend?
Yep. That's all I did.
So Mike likes, or Paul Walker likes the Ravens.
Loves.
That's disgusting. They won, right?
Yeah. 38-6.
Pat doesn't follow a particular sports team. He just loves football, or so he says. Andy likes the Giants. Well, they suck.
They didn't look that bad. They actually played probably better football than they've played in the past 2 years.
I think they played the first half was very well, and it seems like in the second half,
In typical
they-
Giants fashion.
Yeah, in the second half they did not play all that well.
No, and the offensive line in particular is a problem.
Yeah,
That's
but that quarterback he has got isn't bad. He looks a lot like Eli Manning, though.
yeah, but he can move.
Yeah, but
At
he
least-
looks like the looks.
Yeah.
Like, you know what everybody says about Eli Manning. I'm not going to repeat it because it's offensive, and I'm going to try and be less offensive on the podcast.
Yeah.
Holy
I asked you guys if
shit.
there was another surprise coming, and you kept saying no.
What's that?
Is this
What's
Emily?
up?
Emily in the house. What's up now?
Oh, man,
I
it's,
can't see.
it's so loud. It's so loud. I'm going to have to go back and edit it out.
Good, how are you?
Wow.
I guess-
special
Guys,
guest.
Patrick just kissed a
Surprise.
girl for the first time in his life.
Wow.
Hold on, time out. Are we allowed to tell her name of the podcast?
She,
I already know
she's
it.
recruited people to listen to the podcast.
Wow. So she's
Oh,
done
that's
more
right.
than you.
So
You
you've
just
never
did a whole episode on that.
I haven't listened to it though.
Oh, you. there's
You're
a-
on it right now, just so you know we
Yeah,
are recording.
you are on the podcast. Now I'm all sidetracked. So anyway.
Yeah, do we keep talking about football or do we
Yeah,
get
what-
into this? I
Do we
mean,
start making fun of Pat? Like, what do we do here? Start making fun of Emily for dating Pat?
Oh,
I'm ready
absolutely.
for it.
Paul Walker wrote me an intro for the podcast because I normally write them
We'll
for
play it
Tom.
for you. It's absolutely hysterical.
Is it awesome?
yeah, it was
Yes,
pretty
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 solid.
fucking good.
It was pretty good. So anyway, he looks. I'm gonna try and not be offensive anymore in the podcast, but he looks like Eli Manning in all the bad things they said about him. Do you know what I mean by that?
I know what you mean by
For the
that.
record,
but-
Emily is a football fan. She knows that Eli Manning looks like a tool bag as well.
It had nothing to do with looking like a tool bag.
The thing I like about Daniel Jones is that he doesn't just like when he's in trouble sprint backwards 30 yards and then get sacked,
No,
which was like one of Eli Manning's.
yeah, he gets
things he
scared.
did.
He's like, ah! So I'm a Niners fan. I don't know how they lost, but they lost to the Cardinals. It was rough. They
They
did
lost
not-
because the Cardinals have a great team this year and they just picked up DeAndre Hopkins, who's an incredible
I
receiver.
mean, yeah, but the Niners defense did not play that well.
No.
I wasn't. They didn't play horrible. It's just
I have Bosa on my fantasy team, and
how do you Bosa?
he had a good game. We have 2 defensive players in my league.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Usually
Yeah,
it's
but
just
look
a
on the
defensive
look on
team.
the bright side, Tom. You're playing the Jets this week.
Yeah, I mean, that's gonna be a
so
massacre.
the Jets are the worst team in the league.
I don't know.
then-
After
and
last
then we
week,
play
you
the
may
Giants.
pick the Jets just for safety.
That'll be an interesting matchup, I think.
We should get together and watch that game somewhere.
All right.
I think we should at least talk about the thing that everybody wants to talk about, and that's that while Brady, I only watched the very beginning. Brady threw a pick early,
He
then
threw
threw a
2
pick
picks.
6 not much later. So Brady did not look great. It's early. I'm not casting an opinion, but Brady did not look great, and Cam Newton looks like a Hall of Fame superstar with his 350-ish yards passing. I think he had 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns. The dude looks like he's the greatest quarterback in history.
Did he throw for that much?
I completely
He played
disagree.
like a champ.
yeah, I thought they were running the ball.
Yeah,
a
I
lot
mean,
in the New
He
England
scored
game.
2 rushing touchdowns.
Right.
Cam Newton.
Yeah, and they were running the ball a lot.
Yeah,
in
but
the- for
but
the
that's the
offense.
brain of Bill Belichick, right? Who changes his entire offense, who never had a running quarterback, and changes his offense to use a running quarterback.
Yeah, but that's the debate. Was it Brady or was it Belichick? Now we get to talk about it.
So here's
Brady
the thing,
lost,
right?
Belichick won.
And
It-
it's-
no,
it's
it-
one
this
week.
is yeah,
Week
in
one,
week
bro.
one, in
One
week
week.
one with
Yeah.
no preseason.
It's
so-
week
far,
one.
it's not looking
who are the
good.
Patriots playing? The Dolphins.
Right.
Not a great team. They actually used a lot of draft picks to get a decent team, but they're not a great team. Fitzmagic is. I mean,
No. No.
You don't
Start,
like-
he should.
You don't like Fitzmagic?
Tua should have been starting
No
every
way.
game. The confidence you give your rookie guy going into that by saying you're starting over Fitzmagic
Okay.
is
Yeah, but you
huge
got to
for him.
remember too that Fitzmagic is going to fade out by mid-October.
Yeah,
so
and then
you
they're gonna start playing Tua.
get him going
Here-
and then
here's the
start
thing, Mike. Look at all
start
the
Tua in
greats.
week 6.
Look at all the greats.
right.
Tom Brady,
Joe Montana.
Joe Montana. Well, I can't go back that far because I didn't watch football then.
That's your team, man.
Yeah, I know, dude. I was way before my time.
Got to know the history of the team.
I understand, but what I'm saying is, if you look at the greats,
Oh my God! You gotta say that shit out loud.
What do you say?
yeah, I should ask my wife about it.
Yeah,
That would have been a great line.
because she was alive and probably watching football in her mid-teens at that point.
You said that was way before my time, and he turned to me and went, "Wasn't before his wife's time."
Here's the thing, Mike. Pat can make
Don't
fun
be
of my
scared,
wife
Mike.
and
Just
her
say that
age
right
and
into the
our-
mic.
and
I
our
didn't say a
differences.
fucking word.
Listen,
Paul Walker did.
listen. I'm trying to justify something here. Pat can say those things because he knows my wife. You've never met my wife. You're not allowed to say those things.
It was still a great line.
It was. Oh my God. It was. I just wish it came out of Pat's mouth. Anyway, but if you look at the greats, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees. Well, no, you can't even put
of our time,
of our time.
the great quarterback.
How many of them started right out of college?
Aaron Rodgers too.
But yeah, Aaron Rodgers. All these people didn't start right out of college. They sat behind a decent quarterback, with
Right.
the exception of Peyton Manning. He started right out
I
of
mean,
college.
yeah. Brady didn't really have a choice. He was like a 6th or 7th round pick out of Michigan.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is he started behind Drew Bledsoe, and he became the greatest quarterback of all time. And it doesn't matter who wins, right?
Joe Montana is a better quarterback than Brady.
You're fucking nuts.
Joe Montana not only never lost a Super Bowl and went 4-0, he also was the play caller for the offense.
Listen,
Tom Brady was taking direction from the greatest coach of all time.
I mean, if we're going to talk about Joe Montana, we should talk about why I don't have a football team. I was a 49ers fan as a child because of Joe Montana. When he moved to the Kansas City Chiefs, I became a Kansas City Chiefs fan. When he retired, that's when I stopped following a team because just the sheer heartache of your person moving teams, then you have to start over. because I'm a player guy. So like right now, if you ask me, I'd be Texans because I love J.J. Watt, but I also love watching some of these wide receivers and some of these quarterbacks. So I agree, Joe Montana, greatest of all time.
I hate to say this, unpopular opinion. I don't think J.J. Watt's that good.
You're wrong.
He has not been good in years.
You're wrong. T.J. Watt had a pick. It's his brother. It kind of counts.
No, it does not count. They're two different
Bloodline,
people.
same bloodline.
I think
I'm sorry.
J.J.
so
Watt.
You think that J.J. Watt, who, I mean, he's going to set so many career records by the time he's done.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think he's. But is he? When was the last time he played a full season?
Listen,
How old
when,
is he?
when you're getting covered
getting
by
old.
Yeah,
2,
he's
3,
what,
4
in
guys,
his
at the time,
mid-30s right now.
Yeah, he's
I
got to
think.
be in
He's
his.
not.
There's
early
no
to
fucking way
mid-30s.
he's
No,
in his
he's
mid-30s.
not 30.
He's been in the league for what?
Hitting
He's
the
got to
Google.
be in the
I
league
think
10
he's 20
years.
I think
Yeah.
he's 29 or 31, right around there,
Well, so he's in his
which
30s.
is Tom's age. He's definitely not like.
Yeah, look at me.
mid-40s
I look like I'm
Tom's
40.
weight.
J.J. Watt is 31 years old.
Yeah.
31.
That's
Nailed
old,
it.
but that's old for a football player, dude. What's he gonna get? Play another 4 years, maybe?
I can't remember. How old's Tom Brady?
That's different. It's two different positions.
But like you said, J.J. Watt hasn't played a full
Tom Brady
season. He's
doesn't
rested.
take. No, he's not rested. He's injured. That's why he doesn't play the full
And he
season.
plays a tough position, too.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a defensive end. He's,
He
he's
doesn't have
playing in
anybody
contact
protecting him.
every
He's
play.
the one that's going after the quarterback every play.
2011, he's been in the league 9 years.
Yeah. And how many of those are full seasons? You know what I mean? Like,
5-time
Five.
Pro Bowler, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year,
3-time Defensive Player of the Year.
2-time NFL sack leader single season, all-decade
I don't know.
team.
Maybe it's just the Texan games
Yeah,
I
no,
watch.
you're,
He's
you're
not
right.
that
From
good.
his accolades, he doesn't sound like he's that good. That's a good
96 career sacks.
point. It's
That's it?
difficult. It's difficult to
96
consider.
career sacks.
So he averages 10 a season.
It's difficult
Eleven
for
season.
for me to take your assessment of J.J. Watt seriously. You think that punter is the top 5 in the top 5 most important positions on the
It
team.
is.
Wrong.
What do you mean it's wrong?
It's 25th of 26.
Are you a Pat McAfee fan?
Yes,
Yes,
I am.
he's
Like a massive Pat McAfee
he
fan?
wants so badly
That
to
is-
get fucked by Pat
That
McAfee.
is the exact reason why you think that.
There's
No.
no way he'll
Yes.
ever break the sacks record. There's no way.
Tom?
200 all-time is the all-time
What's he
record by
at?
Bruce Smith. He's
96.
at 96
Damn it.
at 31 years old.
Yeah, he's
That's
got
not
maybe
gonna-
like
that's
another
not
4,
happening.
maybe 5 years left.
J.J.
Yeah.
Watt, you're gonna have to get out there and grab some more sacks if you want to break the record.
Story of your life on Pat.
Grab
Just
some more
grabbing
sacks.
sacks.
Yeah, weird Pat telling a gay joke. Anyway,
Yeah, so I don't know. I was gonna say something, I forgot what it was. But I'm pretty excited. This Thursday night game looks like it's gonna be legit. Browns, Bengals.
who wins the Super Bowl?
Who wins the Super
Here
Bowl?
we go.
I don't know, man. Probably the Chiefs,
You think?
dude.
How
they're-
many? When was the
repeat
last
NFL
time?
champions?
Yeah, when was the last time somebody went back to back in
been a
the
long
NFL?
time.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
Dude, I'm telling you, man.
If Patrick Mahomes stays healthy, I don't see anybody beating the Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean, who in the NFC could beat them? I mean, the Niners, but based off what the Niners did in Week 1, it's not even close. You know what I mean? People are saying the Cowboys. The Cowboys didn't look good.
Every single year,
The Cowboys stink.
people say the
Yeah.
Cowboys are going to win the Super Bowl. It's
Yeah,
always
and
the
they,
case.
and they don't look good. Dak Prescott does not deserve $40 million a year. That's why he didn't get paid. I mean, he doesn't. He's not a
I
good
don't know,
quarterback,
dude.
dude.
If
He's a Tony Romo. That's what he is, dude.
He's not though.
He is.
He's not Tony Romo.
What did
First of all,
Mahomes break down to per year? How much does he get paid
50
per
mil.
year? So it's 50.
Or it's
million.
like 40 or
You know what I'm
45, I
really,
think.
you know what I'm really nervous for is Lamar Jackson's rookie contract is up in 2 years, and I am not ready for my team because they're gonna have to pay him $600 for the same thing.
Yeah,
Maybe.
so that's when you lose all
Maybe,
your
not
guys.
if he doesn't get a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
That's when you lose everybody
Chiefs-
else.
We have to win a Super Bowl in the next 2 years.
Right,
so
your window
I'm
is
getting
small.
nervous.
Yeah, your window
Yeah,
is
but
small.
the Chiefs were smart with the way they structured his deal, where they can keep players for X period, like for X amount of years, and
Right.
then what's going to happen is they're going to reconstruct that loan or that contract with him.
Right.
Like it's a 10-year deal, but it's going to get done before 10 years.
Right.
And they're going to redo it.
Right.
If he decides to stay there, why wouldn't you?
Does he have a player option? Do you know?
I don't know.
Okay. I don't know
Um,
either.
But Emily, who's your team?
The Eagles.
Well, that's disgusting.
Ooh.
Rough week one,
Man.
man. You got beat by a team with no name, just like the horses with no name.
oh, shit.
Facts.
Shut up, Paul.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of reminds me of the horses with no name. That
Okay,
I could
no.
definitely beat
All
up.
right. Emily's going. Emily's going in. Emily, if you had the choice.
Hold on, time out.
This
We're
is
gonna
the
end show
tiebreaker.
this way, so make sure you end it good.
Oh, Jesus.
All right.
Pressure's
Way
on
to
now.
put pressure.
You have to choose. Would you rather fight one horse-sized chicken?
Duck.
One horse-sized duck. Sorry.
Good chicken.
My apologies. Or 100 duck-sized horses. Which would you choose and why? Now, we're currently
Just
at a
don't, you don't
tie.
have to say
We're
anything.
currently
Just
at a tie.
let her
You're
answer the
tiebreaker.
question.
You're the
Quiet.
tiebreaker.
Let her answer the question. Go ahead.
I'm gonna go with the giant duck.
Well, that's the wrong answer, but why?
Because it's easier to kill one thing than 100 little ones.
Nope.
Wow, that's fucked up. None of us talked about killing. Emily immediately is fucking murdering. I said fight.
Oh.
Emily is immediately murdering this defenseless animal. You sick fuck.
I'm fucking savage.
I don't think a horse-sized duck is defenseless at all, Pat. I think it has a lot of defenses.
I mean, feathers.
Yeah, that's about it.
Armor.
I desperately want to go to like a farm and feel a duck foot because at this, I think duck's feet are much harder than you guys are giving them credit for, and then you amplify that to the size of a horse, and I think this thing's throwing fucking concrete cylinders at your face.
True.
You're insane.
Little baby horse hooves, they make glue out of those. They make mints out of those.
That's real
They can't be
nice.
that dangerous.
It's real nice.
Do we go to a farm next Thursday?
You know who she asked this question
Number
to?
9 on the farm.
You don't want to go to a
fucking
farm.
stranger. If a stranger would walk by, we'd get them to chime in.
We should go ask this guy where they're practicing football as a kid.
You should go
You should
tackle
ask
his
your dad.
kid and be like, keep your head up.
Don't trust anybody, kid.
You should ask your dad.
Okay, fuck it. Let's go.
Actually, I feel like he has more authority on this subject than anyone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's a he does the horseshoes on horses.
He's a farrier.
Yeah, whatever that is.
Is that what that's
And
called?
he's an ex.
Is that a blacksmith?
He's ex-special
Hold on,
forces.
hold on.
He's in Pat's phone as the Marine, just so everyone knows.
Don't touch the mic.
Hello, son. You're on speaker. Colleen's here.
Oh, oddly enough, you're on speaker, and there are 4 other people here. Dad, have I told you that I'm on a podcast?
A podcast?
Yeah, podcast.
No, you didn't for that.
Okay.
What the
Well,
fuck's a podcast?
a podcast is like a radio show. Okay, you're currently on the radio. Okay, that's how we're gonna word this because I don't want to explain a podcast. I have an important question for you. We think that you're the voice of authority on this question. Are you ready for the question?
I'm ready.
All right. You have to choose. Would you rather fight a horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses?
Doesn't matter. I kill them all. Let God sort it out.
I'd kill them all and let God sort it out. I love you, Dad. I'm going to let you go.
That's the best answer.
What the fuck?
Emily, I'm sorry I lied to you and said that we were going to end the show on your note. We're definitely going to end it on the
Better than
Marines. Thanks for listening at Number 9 Pod. The Number 9 Podcast at gmail.com. Facebook, the Number 9 Podcast. Send in a review, questions, would you rathers. Let's do it all.